What if you do terrace farming but on a huge scale? Like you have a river and just have huge terraces and massive, flood dikes. And you control where the river floods. You deliberately flood one part at a time. Like a massive, massive terrace farming system. Like the basis for this, in my head, it's completely in my imagination, of course. The Yellow River in China is one of these rivers with a lot of sediment in it, right? And it floods. You lock it into one channel, but then the sediment keeps piling up, and eventually the river flood the banks because the sediment has piled up. And so you either have to keep building higher levees, or you have to dredge the river. Imagine if you have, instead of one river, you have multiple rivers. Multiple possible courses, and you let it run on one course for maybe a few centuries. And then you deliberately divert it to the other course, and then you spend however long it takes to dredge this one back out. And then in between, you deliberately flood it in a controlled way, so you divide the whole of China. Divide the whole of the Central Plains area of China into just a massive grid of controlled floodplains, where periodically you just move everybody out and just like this, release the water, let the place flood to just kind of refill the soil basically, and then you block it off again and you open the next part. Like you have a massive, massive controlled system of flooding the land. Over the course of centuries, you just kind of cycle through these areas, and you like move the river. Like 1 century it's here, and then you move it to this one and you dredge this back out, and you move it to this one, you dredge this back out. And this just kind of takes place over hundreds and thousands of years. Maybe that's possible. Maybe you have like a massive controlled flooding system. I mean, Egypt's Nile River is probably the best example of semi-controlled flooding. Back in the old days, that is. They built the Aswan Dam, right? Was it the Aswan Dam that stopped it? Anyway, they dammed the Nile. It doesn't flood anymore. That might be a mistake for agriculture, but maybe Egypt doesn't do agriculture, I don't know. It's a trade-off. They dammed the Nile. But before, like, in ancient times, right? It's famous for flooding every year. And every time it floods, it deposits new soil. And that's how Egypt has remarkable fertility. Like, the agriculture of Egypt is very remarkable. Egypt has always had a large population because of the Nile supporting the agriculture. But the Nile River Valley is, relatively controlled. Like the Nile doesn't really move. It stays in the valley and it floods the valley. every year. Unlike the Central Plains in China, where it's not a valley, it's just a big flat area, and so the river moves because, it's not constrained in a valley. I mean, what other places? Conceivably, the American Midwest? Which way does the rain go? Because there's the mountains. So, the United States, there's mountains on the western side, right? And from the mountains, the rivers come down. I guess the Mississippi comes down. Hmm. The issue with the Americas, North America, I think is the sediment comes from the plains and not from the mountains. In the Himalayas, the sediment really comes from the mountains or the big plateaus high up. Whereas the North American mountains are a lot rockier, if I understand the geography right, the geology right. Anyway, back to this. Time to focus again because we need to design a wall. I've been thinking about something vaguely Japanese. Let me put this away for now. And do I still have it open? Historic Japanese rural village. Let me switch over. So, something vaguely Japanese. Alright, look, just inspiration. Interesting. Right, probably like deep slate for the roof. Not deep slate, tough? Tough for the roof. Pretending to be these tiles. We can't do thatch because we don't have hay bale staircases. Um, if we had hay bale staircases, I would use thatch. Unfortunately, no hay bale staircases. But a lot of thatch in historic Japan, right? Because it's, well, I mean, a lot of thatch in historic anywhere, to be honest. Um, and then like stone walls. That was the stone path. Where was it? So look at this. So like that'll be cobble and stone brick, right? Walls, retaining, um, and things like this. Look at this. So the field is there, and then we have the retaining, and then we have a path, and then we have more fields down here. So we have terraces, right? And terrace farming is fairly well understood. And the idea is you prevent the erosion. You don't let the water just run down the slope because if it just runs down the slope, it washes all your soil away. So you have the water just kind of stopped there, and you at least you slow down the rate at which the soil runs away from you by putting a retaining there and just holding the soil in place. So probably something like this. The field step down, and then the stone, probably like cobblestone, and then it steps down, and then you have paths along somewhere. Something like this. And we have stone walls. This is a bath, right? the Japanese village that cooks in a hot spring. Oh, well, that's cool. They boil their eggs in the hot spring, things like that. That's kind of fun. Oh, so this is slightly fancier. Probably a tourist spot. So the walls are like this. You have wall and then you have the roof over the wall. So it's like a small house. The walls also have eaves and roofs. Oh, this is cool. Stone brick, cobblestone by the water. Mm, this is in the snow, right? Oh, stone lanterns. We don't have stone lanterns in the game. I don't know if I can make something that kind of resembles a stone lantern or not. Probably not. It's a little too detailed, right? How would you do that? Wall, and then a block, and then the lantern. I don't know how you do the cap though. Can you put a little hat on it? This is is it a model or a real place? This is a real place. Wow. Maybe it's a little idealized. Oh, here we go. Walls again. So this is the terracing. Very cool. And I'm looking for like actual walls, not just the terracing. I thought there was one picture down here. That's kind of cool too. So this is timber. Look at that. We have wooden fences on top of the stone walls. So that's pretty good. Look at that. I think that's just for tourist reasons. Historically, I don't think they bother with the railings. If you fall in, you fall in. If you fall in, they laugh at you. I think for like modern safety reasons, they put the railings in. I don't think that's historically accurate, but it looks okay. It looks plausible. Um, this is very old. But yeah, again, the walls. You have walls and roofs over the walls. I'm gonna go with something more cobblestone. Although I guess timber is also okay for the walls. Maybe I do use timber walls. The issue is in the game it's timber fences, and the fences you can see through them. Is it okay if you can see through them? Maybe it's okay if you can see through them. Like, you can't see through those. That's a small image, crap. Cobblestone walls? Right. This is kind of modern. So some of these are modern buildings pretending to be historic buildings. Wait a minute. So this is a historic building on the right. This is a modern building pretending to be historic on the left. I mean, you have to like stick to the character, right? I mean, even if you build a new house, You have to maintain the character of the historic village. Alright, that's all the images we have. Oh, that's a small image too. Okay, right. So, back to the game. The wall... Is it just the same height all the way across? Or does it follow the landscape? It would make a little bit more sense if it did follow the landscape. But maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just the same height all the way across. And I realize here that there's not much space here. So the mountain is there. We need to leave a bit of a gap for a road and to make sure that, nothing jumps over the wall from the mountain. So the wall will have to be maybe like back here, this far away. And then we like come this way, follow this. That will have to be cut down. And then we come here and we join up here, right? And then you gotta wonder like what this little corner does. Why bother with this little corner then? Instead of just having the wall come straight through this way. Like end here. Because this little corner does not contribute very much to the farm. Right, what if it ends here? The gate is here. Is this a straight line? That's a straight line. And we cut off that little bit. Or do we try to maximize the area, even use little oddly shaped bits? On this side, the wall will be like here. Come through this way diagonally. Diagonal, 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 diagonal. Diagonal all the way through. Well, no, maybe here it turns this way. And then it turns 90 degrees this way. Well, it's here. This is here. Oh, this is awkward because that is there. So this would have to come out 90 degrees. There's a hole there from a creeper too. And then leave space for a road here. And then come through this way. Alright, let's talking more building. The plan is stone brick, periodically stone brick columns, in between cobblestone walls, on top is a timber roof. Well, timber frame, and then tough tiles, tough stairs as the roof is the plan. So starting with stone brick along the bottom. And let's say it's the same height all the way along. I don't know about this though, actually. Is it the same height? Maybe the top of it is the same height.